Hello everyone. So this is ICSE board exam specimen paper for chemistry. Already we have done section 1. Now we are going to do section 2. So here the section B starts, which is also for 40 marks. So here you need to attempt any 4 out of 6 questions. Let's start with the first question. Question number 3. Give one significant observation when excess of chlorine gas reacts with ammonia. So when excess chlorine gas reacts with ammonia, it forms nitrogen trichloride, which is an yellow color liquid. So this is the observation for this reaction. Next, when zinc nitrate is strongly heated, when zinc nitrate is heated, these are the products we obtain: zinc oxide plus NO2 plus O2. So here we can write 2 observations. That is, 1, this zinc oxide will be in yellow color. That means you get yellow residue, but it turns white on cooling. So as long as it is hot, it will be in yellow color, but it turns white on cooling. And since we get nitrogen dioxide here, so for this we can write reddish brown vapors. Reddish brown vapors. So for this reaction we can write 2 observations, either this or this. One is enough for this question. Right. Moving to the next question. Give reasons. When ammonia gas is passed over black copper oxide in a combustion tube, a reddish brown substance is left. So here what happens is the ammonia gas reduces this copper oxide to copper. The copper leaves, that is copper metal is formed here, which is reddish brown in color. So what can we write here? Ammonia gas reduces copper oxide to copper metal, which is reddish brown. Next, quicklime is not used to dry hydrogen chloride gas because quicklime is basic and hydrogen chloride gas with moisture, it acts as acidic substance. So these two will react and finally it gives calcium chloride. That means your HCl gas is getting consumed. So that's why we cannot use calcium oxide, that is quicklime, as a drying agent. So the reason can be written as quicklime is basic in nature, which reacts with hydrogen chloride gas to give calcium chloride. Right, next one. The electron affinity of an element X is greater than that of Y. So electron affinity of element X is greater than Y. Electron affinity of X is greater than Y. How is the oxidizing power of X likely to compare with that of Y? So the electron affinity means the energy released when it gains electron is higher for X. So when electron affinity to gain electron is high, then that will be stronger oxidizing agent compared to Y. And similarly, when electron affinity is higher, electron negativity also will be higher for X. So electron negativity for X again greater than Y. State whether X is likely to be placed to the left or right of Y in the periodic table. So as we know, electron affinity increases from left to right. So X must be placed on the right to the element Y in the periodic table. So first comes Y, then X. Right. Next question. Write balanced equation for the following reactions. The first one is the reaction between ammonium chloride and calcium hydroxide. So I am writing here ammonium chloride reacts with calcium hydroxide. Basically this is the preparation of ammonia gas, which gives ammonia gas plus calcium chloride plus water, and while balancing we need to write 2 NH4Cl plus 2 NH3, then here 2 H2O. Next, second one, nitric acid reacts with zinc carbonate. So nitric acid reacting with zinc carbonate. So any acid when react with a carbonate, usually it gives its salt. Here the salt will be zinc nitrate, because here the acid radical is nitrate and this is zinc metal, which forms zinc nitrate, plus since it is a carbonate reacting with an acid forms carbon dioxide and water is the other product. So for balancing equation you need to write 2 here. Then last C1, concentrated sulfuric acid is used or is added to hydrated copper sulfate. So hydrated copper sulfate we are taking, that is pentahydrate copper sulfate, and to this you are going to add or you are going to treat it with concentrated sulfuric acid, which will remove these water molecules and finally will get CuSO4, and those water molecules get separated. So basically this is an example of dehydration reaction. Next, question number 4. Name the main metal present in the following alloys. So duralumin is an alloy of aluminium and brass is the alloy of zinc. Next, write balanced chemical equation for the following. Laboratory preparation of hydrochloric acid from a less volatile acid. Less volatile acid in the sense sulfuric acid. So using sulfuric acid by treating it with NaCl at a temperature below 200 degrees Celsius forms HCl plus NaHSO4. So this is the laboratory preparation of HCl. Bromine gas is passed over ethene. So the reaction between bromine and ethene. So ethene is C2H4 plus bromine Br2 in presence of carbon tetrachloride. So here carbon tetrachloride is a solvent for bromine. So it is a basically addition reaction. So directly Br2 will be added to ethene. So the formula of the resultant compound will be C2H4 Br2. So this is called 1,2 dibromoethane. Let's go to the next question. The next question is, Abhishek was given a salt X for analysis, which was white in color. On strong heating, it produces yellow residue, a colorless gas, and also a reddish brown gas. The solution of the salt X when tested with excess ammonium hydroxide produces chalky white precipitate that is insoluble. So name the colored gas evolved when nitrogen dioxide. Here the named gas, sorry, the question is name the colored gas evolved when Abhishek heated the salt. So the colored gas, which is nothing but reddish brown gas, is nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide. And which cation was present in the sample given to Abhishek? So here you can see ammonium hydroxide is giving chalky white precipitate with the salt solution. So chalky white precipitate will be lead metal. Okay, so here the ion present in the salt is lead ion. Identify the salt given to Abhishek for analysis. So here the cation is lead, and on strong heating you are getting nitrogen dioxide, so that must be a nitrate. So the given salt must be lead nitrate. Next question. In a round bottom flask, a mixture of ethanol, acetic acid and concentrated sulfuric acid was heated. So this is basically esterification reaction where you get an ester. Ethyl acetate is the product. Name the type of reaction occurring in the above setup. So this is nothing but esterification. Esterification, and nothing but you can say it is condensation. So a general type of reaction is condensation. Specifically it is called esterification. What is the role of sulfuric acid here? So in this, sulfuric acid acts as dehydrating agent. So it is going to remove water molecule from those two compounds, ethanol and acetic acid. State one observation that takes place during the reaction. So in this reaction esters are formed, and the esters are sweet smelling compounds. So during the reaction you observe a sweet smelling coming. Next, question number 5. Identify the reactant and write balanced equation. Nitric acid reacts with compound Q to give a salt calcium nitrate, water and carbon dioxide. So acid with some compound Q producing carbon dioxide, so that must be a carbonate, and in the product you have calcium, so that must be calcium carbonate reacting with nitric acid. So then it produces calcium nitrate plus water plus carbon dioxide. Next question. What will be the mass of carbon dioxide that will contain the same number of molecules as present in 3.2 grams of oxygen gas? So here it is saying same number of molecules. Same number of molecules means you are going to take same number of moles of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So number of moles of carbon dioxide must be equal to number of moles of oxygen. So we need to find the mass of carbon dioxide when its molecular mass is 44 grams. That must be equal to the number of moles of oxygen, that is 3.2 by 32. So that gives X is equal to 44 into 0.1. So the answer would be 4.4 grams of carbon dioxide. Next, state the property exhibited by sulfuric acid in each of the following reasons. Sulfur with concentrated sulfuric acid. So here when sulfur reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid, sulfur is converted to sulfur dioxide. So here sulfuric acid acts as an oxidizing agent. So here sulfuric acid acts as an oxidizing agent because this is oxidizing sulfur to sulfur dioxide. Second one, conversion of ferrous sulfide to hydrogen sulfide gas using sulfuric acid. So when you treat ferrous sulfide with sulfuric acid, it produces FeSO4 plus H2S gas. So in this reaction, sulfuric acid acts as just a typical acid. It shows its acidic nature. Next, ethanol with concentrated sulfuric acid. So ethanol when reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid, so ethanol loses water molecule, that is C2H5OH gives C2H4 by losing a water molecule when you add concentrated sulfuric acid. So here sulfuric acid is removing the water molecule. So sulfuric acid acts as a dehydrating agent here. The purpose of using sulfuric acid is as a dehydrating agent. Next, give balanced equation for the following reactions. Laboratory preparation of ethyne from calcium carbide. So calcium carbide when treated with water, simple reaction, gives C2H2, that is ethyne, plus calcium hydroxide. To balance the equation, we'll write 2 there. So this is the preparation of ethyne, that is C2H2 in the laboratory. Then conversion of acetic acid to ethyl acetate. It is nothing but esterification reaction. So acetic acid CH3COOH when reacts with ethyl alcohol C2H5OH in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. So here sulfuric acid acts as a dehydrating agent. So it removes this H from acetic acid and OH from ethyl alcohol as water molecule, and CH3COO and C2H5 will form a compound called ethyl acetate. Then laboratory preparation of nitric acid. So in this you are going to use potassium nitrate with concentrated sulfuric acid at a temperature below 200 degrees Celsius, which gives HNO3 plus KHSO4. So this is the preparation of nitric acid in the laboratory method. Now that is the end of question number 5. Now let's go to question number 6. A student was asked to perform 2 experiments in the laboratory. Observe the picture given below and state one observation for each of the experiments 1 and 2. Experiment 1. Test tube containing zinc sulfate is added to barium chloride. So when zinc sulfate reacting with barium chloride, basically it has sulfate reacting with barium chloride. So it is a test for sulfate ion. When sulfate salt solution reacts with barium chloride, it gives a white precipitate. Which is insoluble in any mineral acid like dilute HNO3. So this is the observation in the experiment number 1. Next, second experiment. Here the test tube is containing ammonium hydroxide solution, which is added to another test tube which contains some compound. Now test tube containing precipitate of copper hydroxide. So now you are adding ammonium hydroxide to a precipitate of copper hydroxide, which is pale blue precipitate, and again you are adding ammonium hydroxide to this. Then it forms inky blue solution because already you have that pale blue precipitate. and then you add excess ammonium hydroxide, what happens? This pale blue precipitate dissolves and forms inky blue solution. Right, next. You are provided with the list of chemicals mentioned below. Using suitable chemicals from the list given, write balanced equation. First one, I want to prepare copper sulfate. So which can be used? So I have copper carbonate and hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid. Right? So I can use copper carbonate plus dilute sulfuric acid, which gives copper sulfate plus carbon dioxide plus water. So copper carbonate and dilute sulfuric acid will give you copper sulfate. Then preparation of sodium zincate. For this I need to take sodium hydroxide, then zinc. So now zinc is amphoteric. When reacts with sodium hydroxide, gives sodium zincate Na2ZnO2 plus H2O. For balancing the equation, 2NaOH. Then coming to the third one, solid ammonium dichromate decomposes as given here. 126 grams of ammonium dichromate decomposes, then calculate the following. So from the atomic weights, first you need to find the molar masses of the given compounds. In this, you have ammonium dichromate whose molecular mass or molar mass is 252. We need to calculate it from the atomic weights given. Then chromium oxide, which is also a solid, its molar mass is 152 grams. So first we need to find the number of moles of ammonium dichromate. So whenever we when we want to find number of moles, you have to divide the mass of the compound with the molar mass or molecular mass, which equals to, here in this case you are taking 126 grams of ammonium dichromate. So 126 divided by its molar mass is 252. Now when you calculate this, 126 divided by 252 will be 0.5. So 0.5 moles of ammonium dichromate you are using here. Then mass of chromic oxide. So from this equation, if you compare these two, ammonium dichromate, H4 twice, Cr2O7, and chromic oxide or chromium oxide, when you take ammonium dichromate 252 grams, it is giving 152 grams of chromium oxide. Now you are taking 126 grams, as per the question, you are taking 126 grams of ammonium dichromate. So then what must be the mass of chromium oxide produced? So you need to do cross multiplication. So here x into 252 is equal to 126 into 152. 126 into 152. So from here x is equal to 126 into 152 divided by 252. So which will give you 76 grams. Right. Next, the volume of, third one, the volume of nitrogen gas. So now from this equation, when you take 250 grams of ammonium dichromate, 252 grams of ammonium dichromate, nitrogen gas 1 mole is produced. So whenever it is 1 mole of a gas, 1 mole of a gas means it is 22.4 liters. Now in this case, the ammonium dichromate taken is 126 grams. So then what must be the volume of nitrogen produced? So like this you have to compare it. Now we are going to do cross multiplication again. 252 into x into 252, that must be equal to 126 into 22.4. From here x is equal to 126 into 22.4 by 252. So from this you will get 11.2 liters. So the nitrogen gas produced here will be 11.2 liters. Right. Next, identify the reactants P, Q and R in the following reactions. Copper oxide plus P gives copper plus water. So here copper oxide CuO is going to convert it copper metal. So there must be a reducing agent used which will give you water. So this must be hydrogen. Next one, iron pyrite plus Q gives iron oxide plus sulfur dioxide. So here it must be iron pyrite is giving iron oxide and sulfur dioxide. So this must be oxygen. This must be oxygen. Then sodium chloride plus R gives sodium nitrate plus silver chloride. So in the compound sodium chloride you have sodium and chloride. So from this the R must be silver nitrate. R must be silver nitrate. Right. Next question. Give reason for the following questions. Nitric acid does not normally liberate hydrogen because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It is a strong oxidizing agent, or you can write nitric acid oxidizes hydrogen to water. So hydrogen gas cannot be obtained in that reaction. Next, silver plated cutlery is not considered as pure silver. Okay, silver plated. So in the sentence like silver plated, right? So silver is coated on the cutlery. So the entire cutlery is not made of pure silver. Right. Next one. The following questions relate to extraction of aluminum by electrolysis. Name the other compounds which contain aluminum added to aluminum. So in the electrolysis by which aluminum is extracted, that is Hall-Héroult process. In Hall-Héroult's process, other than alumina, we add cryolite and fluorspar. But here cryolite is the only one which contains aluminum. So here the answer is cryolite. Next, second one. Give a balanced equation for the reaction takes place at the cathode. So in this case, aluminum ion takes 3 electrons and gives Al. Next, give balanced equations for the reactions, following reactions. Action of warm water on aluminum nitride. Aluminum nitride plus warm water, basically it is the preparation of ammonia gas. NH3 plus aluminum hydroxide. To balance the equation, write 3 here. Next, oxidation of carbon with nitric acid. Carbon with nitric acid, concentrated nitric acid, if you take, gives carbon dioxide plus NO2 plus H2O. For balancing, 4HNO3, 4NO2, 2H2O. Next, third one. Laboratory preparation of ethanol by using chloroethane and aqueous sodium hydroxide. So you will be using chloroethane, that is C2H5Cl plus aqueous sodium hydroxide, NaOH. Aqueous on heating gives C2H5OH plus NaCl. That's it. You get NaCl. Next, Rohit has solutions X, Y and Z. with pH 2, 7 and 13. So pH of X is 2, this is 7 and this is 13. Which solution liberates sulfur dioxide gas when heated with sulfite? So sulfite is giving sulfur dioxide by reacting with any one of these three. So usually sulfites will react with acids or acidic substances to give sulfur dioxide. So we need to find out which is the acidic substance here. So X has pH value 2, so that must be acidic, because pH 7 is neutral, pH 13 is base. Which solution will liberate ammonia gas when reacted with ammonium chloride? So usually when ammonium chloride reacts with alkalis, they produce ammonia gas. So alkali means it must be a base, so it must be Z. Next, will not have any effect on litmus paper, so that is neutral. So which one is neutral here? pH 7, that is Y, is neutral. Next, state giving reasons if zinc metal and aluminum metal can be distinguished by heating the metal powders separately in two different test tubes with concentrated sodium hydroxide. Yes, we can distinguish. So when you take zinc with sodium hydroxide, okay, so you are taking zinc plus sodium hydroxide solution and then aluminum plus sodium hydroxide solution. If both of them are aqueous solutions, so in that case we cannot distinguish them, because in both the cases you will get hydrogen gas liberated. So then it is not possible to distinguish. So no, because both the cases hydrogen gas is produced. Next, calcium nitrate and lead nitrate can be distinguished by adding ammonium hydroxide solution to the salt solution. Yes, when you add ammonium hydroxide to calcium nitrate, there is no precipitate, so we can distinguish. Yes, we can distinguish. How do we distinguish? Because calcium salt plus ammonium hydroxide gives no precipitate, whereas lead salt, when you take lead salt with ammonium hydroxide, it gives chalky white precipitate. So there is a difference in the observation in the products, so we can distinguish calcium salt and lead salt using ammonium hydroxide. Next, draw the electron dot diagram of ammonium ion. So ammonium ion has nitrogen with 4 hydrogens where 3 bonds are covalent, so dot cross dot cross dot cross, and 1 is coordinate covalent bond, so both will be dots. That means both electrons are coming from nitrogen itself. Next, write balanced chemical equation for the following conversions. So starting from zinc, so zinc has to be converted to zinc sulfate using a substance A. So here A can be dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, let's write the equation. If you take zinc plus dilute sulfuric acid, it gives zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. So from zinc you can prepare zinc sulfate using sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. Then from zinc sulfate to zinc hydroxide using compound C. So here the C must be ammonium hydroxide or it can be sodium hydroxide. Okay, so then zinc sulfate is treated with ammonium hydroxide in small quantities. It gives zinc hydroxide. We need to write balanced equation. So let me complete the equation. So it gives ammonium sulfate. For balancing we need to write 2 here. Okay, so this is the first This is the second equation. The third equation, from zinc to zinc sulfide. So directly we can take zinc plus, the B can be sulfur. Zinc plus sulfur on heating gives zinc sulfide. Okay, so this is the third equation. Next, fourth one, LMN are three elements with atomic numbers 13, 7 and 10. So LMN, they have atomic numbers 13, 7 and 10. So whenever this type of question comes, write the electronic configuration first. 283, 2,5 is 2,8. So obviously this will be a noble gas, and this is a non-metal, and this is a metal. L is a metal, M is a non-metal, N is a noble gas. Clearly mentioned, do not identify the elements. You don't need to write what is the name of the element in this case. Which element can combine with hydrogen to form a gas which produces dense white fumes with concentrated HCl? So dense white fumes with HCl. Which compound gives dense white fumes with HCl? Ammonia. So there it must be nitrogen which is reacting with hydrogen. So in these options, which one is nitrogen? M is nitrogen. So M combines with hydrogen to form ammonia, which will give you dense white fumes with HCl. Next, which has zero electron affinity? Of course, noble gases will have zero electron affinity. Here noble gas is represented with letter N. So N is the answer. Which can form ionic compound? So ionic compounds are generally formed by the metals. So which one is the metal here? L is the metal here. So L is the answer.